Stop chasing happiness, the Stoic path to contentment. Stoicism. Have you ever noticed that the harder you chase happiness, the faster it slips away? You set a goal, you reach it, and the joy you expected evaporates within days. You buy the thing, you win the promotion, you finally arrive where you thought contentment was waiting, and it has already moved on. Happiness behaves like a shadow you try to step on. The moment you lunge for it, it darts ahead. And the more desperately you pursue, the more it stays just out of reach. Here is a truth the Stoics understood 2,000 years before modern psychology gave it a name. Happiness is not a target. It is a byproduct. You cannot aim at it directly any more than you can order yourself to fall asleep. The effort itself becomes the obstacle. When you make feeling good the object of your life, you turn every moment into an audit. Am I happy yet? Is this enough? And that constant checking is exactly what keeps contentment away. Psychologists today call it the hedonic treadmill. You adapt to every gain, your expectations rise to meet your new circumstances, and you end up running faster just to stay in the same emotional place. But the ancient Stoics described this treadmill long before it had a scientific label. They watched wealthy Romans surrounded by luxury and quietly miserable. They saw that pleasure, chased for its own sake, always demands more of itself. Yesterday's luxury becomes today's baseline, and the thrill you felt fades into something you now simply expect. So they proposed something radical. Stop chasing happiness altogether. Aim at something better, and let contentment arrive on its own. This is not resignation, and it is not lowering your standards. It is redirecting your effort toward the one place where effort actually pays off. Here are 6 shifts that move you from chasing to contentment. The first shift. Aim at character, and satisfaction follows. The Stoics held that there is only one true good, and it is not pleasure, money, or reputation. It is virtue. Your character. The quality of your choices and the person you become through them. Everything else, they said, is what they called indifferent. Not worthless, but not the foundation of a good life either. When you aim at being courageous, fair, honest, and wise, you are aiming at something entirely within your control. Nobody can take it from you. Consider a nurse at the end of a brutal shift. She did not feel happy. She felt exhausted. But she acted with patience and care, and that gave her a satisfaction no pleasant distraction could match. Happiness chased directly rewards you only when things go well. Character rewards you even when they go badly, because you can always choose how to respond. Aim there, and the good feelings tend to come as an echo, not a demand. The second shift. Want what you already have. Seneca called this the secret of the rich soul. It is not the person with the most who is wealthy, he argued, but the person who needs the least to feel complete. Think about your own life for a moment. How much of what you now take for granted was once something you desperately wanted? The home you barely notice. The relationship you stopped appreciating. The health you assume will last. You already possess most of what you once dreamed about, but desire keeps sprinting ahead to the next thing, so you never stop to notice. The Stoics practiced a deliberate reversal. Instead of imagining what you lack, imagine losing what you have. Picture your morning coffee, your quiet evening, your ability to walk, suddenly gone. Then watch how quickly ordinary things become precious again. Contentment is not getting more. It is recognizing that you are already rich and simply forgot to look. The person who can enjoy a plain meal and a quiet room, Seneca argued, has a security that no fortune can buy and no misfortune can steal. The third shift. Trade more for enough. Chasing happiness runs on the word more. More money, more status, more experiences, more approval. But more is a moving line that retreats every time you approach it. The Stoics offered a different word. Enough. Epictetus, whom the Stoics respected on this point, said that nothing is enough for the person who considers enough too little. Imagine 2 people earning the same salary. One has decided what a good life costs and lives comfortably below it. The other keeps raising the target every time income grows, so no amount ever satisfies. Same money. Two completely different lives. Enough is not about deprivation or forcing yourself to want less than you truly need. It is about defining the finish line yourself instead of letting advertising, comparison, and envy define it for you. Once you know what enough looks like, you can actually reach it. And a line you can reach is the only line that ever brings peace. The fourth shift. Choose meaningful difficulty over pleasant distraction. We assume happiness lives in comfort, in the soft evening on the couch, the easy scroll, the frictionless afternoon. But notice how you feel afterward. Often emptier than before. The Stoics understood that a good life is not a comfortable one but a meaningful one, and meaning almost always requires difficulty you have chosen on purpose. Think of someone training for a marathon. The early mornings hurt. The long runs are grueling. Nobody would call the process pleasant. Yet ask any runner and they will tell you those hard months felt more alive than any lazy weekend. Marcus Aurelius rose before dawn to do his duty when his body begged to stay in bed, and he reminded himself that he was made for work, not for warmth under the blankets. When you swap easy distraction for chosen challenge, learning an instrument, raising a child, building something real, you trade a shallow pleasure that fades for a deep satisfaction that lasts. Difficulty, willingly taken, is where contentment quietly grows. The fifth shift. Let sadness be weather, not a verdict. If you believe you should always be happy, then every low mood becomes evidence that something is broken in your life. You feel sad, and then you feel bad about feeling sad, and the second layer is heavier than the first. The Stoics saw emotions differently. Feelings pass through you like weather passes over a landscape. A storm does not mean the sky is ruined. It means the weather is doing what weather does. Grief, frustration, and disappointment are natural responses to being a human who cares about things. The Stoic aim was never to feel nothing. It was to stop adding false judgments on top of what you feel. When a hard day comes, you do not have to conclude that your whole life is failing. You can let the sadness move through, notice it, and know it will shift, because it always does. Contentment is not a permanent sunny mood. It is the calm of someone who no longer panics when clouds roll in. The sixth shift. Measure the day by what you gave, not by what you felt. At the end of a day, most of us ask a single quiet question. Did I enjoy myself? The Stoics asked a better one. Did I act well? They measured a day not by the pleasure it delivered but by the effort, honesty, and kindness they brought to it. This flips the entire equation. Feelings depend on luck, weather, other people, 100 things outside your control. But what you contributed is yours. Picture a father who spent the evening helping his son with homework instead of relaxing. He may be tired, but he can look back and know he showed up. That knowledge is sturdier than any fleeting good mood. Try it tonight. Instead of asking whether you were happy, ask what you gave, who you helped, whether you kept your word, whether you acted like the person you want to be. A day measured that way rarely feels wasted, even when it was hard. So stop chasing happiness. It was never a destination you could march toward. The Greeks had a word the Stoics built their entire philosophy around. Eudaimonia. It is often translated as happiness, but it means something far richer. A life well lived. A life of flourishing, of good character fully expressed, of purpose pursued with integrity. Not a life that always feels good, but a life that is genuinely good. And here is the paradox at the heart of it all. When you stop demanding happiness and start living well, contentment tends to arrive quietly, through the back door, while you were busy doing something that mattered. Aim at the life. Let the feeling follow. That is the Stoic path, and it has been waiting for you the whole time.